Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Market Pulse for all the other indices for the week starting 6 September 2021 to 12 September 2021. Let's take a look at the indices, the sectoral indices, what they are doing, and where we can find some opportunities to be a buyer or a seller. Let's start with the Nifty Auto Index. Let me remove everything here. The auto index has hit a monthly supply zone and is finding it difficult to go beyond it. But also remember that it has not been falling too much. So that's the level of supply that it is holding up. And this is the level of demand. So it's in a very narrow range that it is oscillating. So it's more in a trading range rather than an investing range. The more we come closer to 9450 or below 9400, we could look at getting into a buy mode in some of the auto stocks. That's the best demand zone to initiate cash longs, cash buys in the auto sector. That's at around 8,300, but prices are not breaking this demand zone. You will see that once we keep oscillating between these supply demand for quite some time, these prices will go in deeper breakout, and the auto sector could hit an all-time high. But if it is unable to go beyond this prior high of 10,900, then we could see it go testing this demand zone deeper, the clues for which will be available to us on the weekly chart. On the weekly chart, if you see, we are range bound based on the monthly supply and demand zone. That's the demand zone that is right now holding up on the weekly chart. So this is the entire demand zone, pretty wide demand zone on the weekly chart. And prices have been moving up, very early signs of moving up, but it's still holding this supply zone. So long trades will be aggressive, and they will be more of trading range rather than investment opportunities as of now. That's a weekly supply zone. So that's the range that we have on the weekly for the auto index, between about 10,000 to 10,400, 10,500. Going down to the daily time frame, we have been trending down nicely here after having hit 10,900. That's the area of supply zone that is holding up yeah, the auto index. That's daily supply zone, which is again being derived from the supply zones here. But we hit this beautiful area of demand zone on the daily chart, and prices have been able to move up higher. So these are probably the first signs of trend change. In the shorter term, prices could pull back on intraday time frames and then move ahead all the way to 10,400. So from a short-term perspective, I will wait for some pullback to go long and target this on the Nifty Auto Index. If we take a look at the 75-minute chart, that's the area of demand zone that I would be waiting to initiate some long positions in the Nifty Auto Index. Maybe some stocks like Tata Motors, Bajaj, or Eicher. Some of these stocks could well pull back to good areas of demand zone, and we can go long here. And immediate targets would be around 10,400 to 10,500. So bullish outlook on this, but wait for pullbacks. Right now we are in this area of supply. Confirmation shorts possible because there is enough room, profit margin available. So if you find any auto stocks that is trending down and has hit a good supply, you can think about going short in that stock. That was the auto index. Let's go to the energy index. This index has been doing well as we discussed in our previous sessions. A bullish index, that's the monthly demand zone from where we are moving up. We came very close to that and started moving up, and today probably gave a new high. This is what we were talking about in our previous market pulse, that energy index might give a new high. So bullish outlook, we'll have to wait for some more pullbacks. This is primarily led by stocks like BPCL and Reliance and IOC, ONDC. All of them are really moving up. That's the weekly demand zone, which is right now holding up for the energy index. If we get a pullback to that demand zone, swing positions on the long sides can be initiated around 19,100, but that's pretty far right now. But remember, we are overextended, so don't get aggressively bullish on the energy index. Wait for pullbacks to go long. So we had a gap up and indecisive candle on the weekly as well as the daily. That's the prior top. We have not been able to close beyond that. So that's not a good sign. That's why longs will be aggressive anywhere in this area. You must wait for either a convincing close and a follow through candle beyond the all time high, or then that will be the area where you should look for initiating new long positions, maybe to us in a stock like Reliance or an IOC, BPCL, ONDC. They will all pull back to these good areas of demand zone on the daily chart when the index hits around 20,000. That's where good long positions can be initiated. Short positions will be very, very aggressive and counter trend. Smaller time frame, we have a lot of demand zones. So intraday trades are possible in some of the energy stocks, but swing positions only at around 20,000. All right, so bullish outlook, wait for pullbacks. Financials, now pretty much all-time high index again. As we discussed last time, this is the first index to go and hit all-time high amongst the financial stocks. The financial index like the PSU Bank or Bank Nifty index. Wait for pullback. So strong bullish outlook. New demand zones on the monthly have been formed here. We will wait for pullbacks to this where good long positions can be initiated. Maybe this will be timed with Bank Nifty coming to maybe 36,100. To 35,800, and Nifty could be at around 17,000 for us to go create new long positions in the financial stocks. On the monthly chart bullish, weekly chart again bullish, but last week's high still not taken off. So there could be some selling pressure coming in. So wait for pullbacks to 17,000 to initiate long positions on the monthly, weekly as well. Bullish outlook. On the daily, if you see no demand zone till 17,500. So from short-term income perspective, trading perspective, we'll have to wait for prices to come below 17,500 um, at this area to initiate long positions. Once we go below 17,000, let's say 18,000, once we start trading below 18,000, aggressive short-term income shorts can be taken if you're an aggressive trader. Otherwise, wait for the pullback to initiate long positions in some of the finance stocks. Again, a consolidated range bound, that's the demand zone which is holding up. So intraday positions between 17,990 to this high of 18,200. That's the range for intraday trading on the finance. So bullish outlook, wait for pullbacks on the financials. FMCG index. Okay, again, like the energy index, a very stronger index, new all-time high again this month after a strong run-up last month. This week we gave a new high but started selling off. So most of this indices and stocks are either sitting in supply zones or are extended. So it is not prudent to chase prices. You'll have to wait for them to pull back so that you can enter into meaningful long positions in the constituent stocks. So to take a look at the Nifty FMCG, that's the area where I will initiate swing positions or positional trade setups at around 36 to 100. That's the area where short-term income trading can be done towards the long side. Bullish outlook, we need to wait for pullback. So I am not too keen on buying here. So that's the best area to look at buying the weekly demand zone. So if I have to fine tune it on a daily chart, that's the precise demand zone for the FMCG stock. So maybe a Dabur or an ITC could pull back, or an HUL could pull back to good areas of demand zone here where short-term income longs can be initiated. Please do not short. It's a bullish sector and all the stocks are doing very well. If we come by any chance to 37,000 in the near future, then swing, very good area of demand zone for swing position. On the intraday time frames, those are your areas to look at intraday longs and targets. So that's the area which will offer resistance to price to move up. So this is the range for your intraday trading for some of the FMCG stocks. So bullish outlook, avoid shorting, wait for pullbacks to go long. The infra sector, again, a bullish sector. As we have discussed last time, infra is going in deeper into this monthly area of supply zone. It can go all the way up, hit the upper supply here, and then turn down. So be cautious about shorting the infra stocks. With any pullback you get, it will be wiser to go long in some of the infra stocks. New areas of demand on the monthly have been formed here. Let me remove everything else. So that's the area of demand zone which you can look to go long, though it's a little high on the curve. At least short-term income positions can be initiated at these areas of demand on the monthly. Strong uptrending index. But again, if you see most of the indices today open gap up, like most of the stocks, and there was selling pressure coming in for all of them. So if you take a look here on the weekly chart, that's the area from where we are finding it a certain resistance coming in. So wait for pullbacks to this area of demand zone on the weekly chart, which is also holding up with the monthly chart. So around 45, 80, 45, 80, 45, 85 is where we can look for longs. Avoid shorting, even though we are in monthly supply, there is no confirmation the trend is strong. Look at how the momentum and trend is strong here, moving up. So avoid shorting, wait for pullbacks to below 4600 for new long positions. Nothing much from intraday play. Still, the same areas of demand zone, which will act as the range for your month intraday setup. So around 40, 48.65 to 47.90 is intraday range. No shorting, wait for pullbacks to good areas of demand zone around 4600 to go long in the infra sector. IT again, bullish sector, just like the FMCG index. It's just going up non-stop. It's just not pausing, but it's getting into very, very overextended range. So initiating new buy positions for investments will be very, very tricky and at high prices. So avoid buying for investments. You can trade on the long sides for short-term income, but remember, the way it has gone up, you could also see a similar move coming in. Who knows what news will come out, and most of the IT stocks will fall. But it's still bullish. Cash positions, there's no need to worry about them. This will keep on moving up. The pullback here will be to add more positions to your cash investments in the IT sector at around 27,500. On the weekly, again, if you see, without forming any demand zones, it is just running one way, aided by the heavyweights and also the mid cap and mid cap IT index. So uh, again, we'll have to wait for prices to pull back for meaningful cash investments or swing investments. Intraday positions or short-term income long positions are still valid, but overextended, and you're getting into the realm of being a little bit aggressive and um, uh, uh, chasing the stock. So don't have FOMO feeling. Prices will pull back. You just need to be patient like a sniper. So on a daily chart, that's the first area where you can look for good short-term income longs all the way up to maybe 34,500. That's area, and these are your areas for swing positions. So a bullish sector, no shorting, overextended. If you are long, hold on to it, keep trailing. If you are not holding, wait for pullbacks. Intraday levels are here. So once prices pull back to these areas, you can go long for intraday or short-term income. But once they break this, then wait for higher time frame demand zones like maybe 34,000 to go long at these areas of demand zone. So bullish, strong momentum index, media index, again, a weaker index compared to all the other indices. It has hit on the monthly chart like we discussed last time. It still hit that monthly supply zone and is not able to move. But now after hitting the monthly demand zone, we are seeing some signs of moving to the upside. So let's take a look at the weekly chart. That's the supply there, which is not a great supply as such. Prices could go in a little bit deeper inside the supply, because most of the sell orders, if you see, will be drawn from this area of supply here. If I just delete this and the higher time frame, most of the sell orders will be drawn from this area. So you could see a pullback all the way up to this area on the weekly chart, but good signs of moving up, initial trend change signs on the weekly, and the daily is also showing some good bullish price action. So that will be your areas which you can target if you go long at these areas of demand zone. So aggressive longs can be initiated around 1625 to first target about 1730, and second target will be about 1782. So a very early signs of trend change, but beware, don't buy at the current market price since that is in a supply zone on the daily chart. Wait for pullback to this area of demand zone at around 1620, and then you can look at going long in some of the media stocks. So aggressively bullish outlook, but wait for pullbacks. Metal index, again a stronger index, but after that big fall has still not able to break the all-time high. But look at the monthly chart. Every demand zone pullback that it has on the monthly chart, prices go up ferociously. Cash swing positions can be initiated here, but they are very far right now. It's like you'll need something like a pandemic for prices to come here, or some crash in metal prices, which as of now doesn't look likely. That's a good area of demand zone to be a buyer at around 4600. Swing positions can be initiated. We can initiate some swing positions here, provided we take off this prior high at around 5940. When we go up, new long positions can be initiated in the metal index. On the daily chart, this was where we had a strong sell-off and came into that weekly and monthly area of demand zone. So there could be some resistance to price at this area of daily supply zone. So now it is very up high on the curve. So protect your longs. Maybe FNO positions you can look at uh, booking partial profits and then trailing the rest for a new all-time high. If we pull back somewhere close to this area around 5400, new long positions can be initiated. So that's the area that I'm looking to initiate new long positions at around 5500. So a good area to go long, and then probably target this area. So that is where we have the 75-minute supply zone on the metal index. So probably this could be the place from where it will return reverse. And if you get confirmation to short in some of the metal stocks, then you can short once it starts coming down and target this area for your short targets, and maybe new long positions can be initiated provided the markets are bullish. So it's gone up quite a bit. Wait for pullbacks to this area for long, and aggressive shorts based on confirmation can be initiated around 5850. Mid cap index, again, similar to most of the other indices, all-time high index this month, also very strong up move on the monthly, no supply whatsoever. Still, that's the best area for mid caps to buy. And the next area of demand zone, which I prefer, is at around 21,000. So this is where you can initiate short-term income or swing positions, and that's where cash buying can be initiated on some of the good mid-cap stocks. But that's quite far right now. Weekly, again, strong uptrend. Last week had a very bullish close, forming a new area of demand zone at this. So now for this week, that's the lower range for the mid cap index. No supply zone, so sky's the limit. It could come pull back here and then start moving and give a new high, and swing positions can be initiated at around 2630. But this is a valid area to be a buyer. Taking a look at the daily chart, so that is something that is not good. Two continuous days of indecision price action candle. So be careful about your long positions in the mid cap stock. Protect your profits, because once it starts turning, the next stop for mid cap 100 will be at this point. But that will be a real good point for us to initiate some long positions and target the prior high or any supply zone that gets formed here. So long position at around 27,600 right now. Protect your profits. No shorting since it's an all-time high stock. Shorts only based on confirmation, but we'll need to wait for pullbacks at these areas to go long. And on the intraday time frames, there's really no great demand zone. It's a very vertical move, so prices could come back all the way to 27,600. So protect profits, wait for pullbacks, don't initiate new long positions. It's very, very overextended on the mid cap. Pharma sector. Now this one also hit came last month. It had sort of sell off that came to nowhere. There's no monthly demand zone. The monthly demand zone starts from this area. That's where new long positions, swing long position in the pharma stocks can be initiated. No supply zone still on the monthly. On the weekly now, that's the area of supply zone where we possibly could stall. The up move could stall on the weekly supply zone and start turning. And now if we start turning down, then that's going to be your first stop for the pharma index. And possibly we could even, if this supply holds, we could even see deeper penetration of the prices inside this weekly demand zone. Best long position still at 12,400, that is swing. Here, once we come in the inside this, based on confirmation, we can go long, or if we close above the prior high and give new highs, this is the best area then to be a buyer on the weekly chart for pharma stocks. Take a look at the daily. Friday, we had a problem going up. As soon as we went up, selling started. Today, also the same thing happening. So expect a pullback in some of the pharma stocks. Wait for pullbacks all the way up to 13,840. If there is any downtrending pharma stock, you can look to go shorts based on confirmation because there is enough profit margin available. So we are at the retail end. Longs should be avoided. Shorts based on confirmation or downtrending stocks, and uh, kindly make sure that you protect your profits and don't give away if you are long at these areas. That's a decent move that you've got, but prices have stalled. We could be seeing a pullback on the 75-minute. That's the first pullback area where intraday longs can be taken, and the second area where short-term income swing longs can be taken at the area. So in supply monthly, in higher time frame supply weekly and daily, avoid longs, protect profits, wait for pullbacks, and shorting only based on confirmation or in downtrending scripts. PSU banks. PSU banks have been doing well for the past few months. If you take a look here, a strong up move came into this area of supply on the monthly. We did go in quite deeper on that monthly supply zone and are pulling back. That's the monthly demand zone, which is still a valid demand zone. If PSU banks pull back to this area, new long positions can be initiated on the PSU banking stocks. That's sorry, the monthly supply. So that's a range on the monthly chart for PSU bank index. On the weekly, if you see, we are making lower lows and lower highs. That's the area of demand zone which has been hit on the weekly chart. And if this demand holds and we start moving up, we could the moment we go beyond 2575, this supply could be breached, and we could then target the new supply of 30 to 70 on the weekly chart. But before that to happen, we'll have to first take off this area of supply zone. So in case we again get pushed back, these are the areas where stock specific longs can be initiated in the PSU bank sector. On the daily chart, after hitting this demand, we are moving up. Not Don't expect too big moves in this because there are a lot of supply zones on the daily chart. So possibly the immediate up move could stall at around 24.25 to 24.30 before it starts turning down. Now, if we turn down from this area of supply on the daily chart, then new long positions can only be initiated uh, below 2166, or you can get aggressive shorts if there are stocks trending down for a target of 2161, and new long positions only below 2100, because the trend will again continue and we could see a new lower low being made. So a slightly bearish outlook on the PSU bank sector, but shorts only on confirmation. Uh, if you're long, protect profits, wait for pullbacks to initiate new long position. Realty index. Now, this is again like the infra index, is one of the stronger indices, as we discussed last time. The monthly supply starts at around for 465. We are at 431. So some more room for the realty index to move up based on the monthly. That's the new demand zone where I would be interested in going long on some of the realty stocks. So we are getting into the retail pricing area. So be cautious about swing positions, but you can take short-term income or intraday longs till we reach that area of supply on the monthly. On the weekly, again, this week started and we had a very, very strong close. But let's take a look if we have hit any weekly supply zone on the left. So if you see on the weekly, there is some more room. That's the area of supply on the weekly where realty stocks can move to. Weekly supply zone. That's the area. So around 475 is where it can possibly move to before retreating back. If we pull back here and come to this area of demand zone, that will be a good area to again initiate long positions on the realty stocks till we hit this supply zone of 4575. So bullish outlook, very strong. Avoid shorting till we get some confirmation. So that's the daily chart that we are looking at. That's where new demand zones are found, and this is a very beautiful area of demand at 390, where you can go long in some of the infra stocks, realty stocks. So this area of demand zone can be used for short-term income or aggressive long positions. But let's first take a quick look at where we are on the daily chart. Uh, so that's one of the supply zones that we have on the daily chart. Now, if we have hit this supply, then we will have to be careful about longs, because we need to wait for the prices to pull back. No, that's the old one. Let me delete these. Sorry, I forgot the price. It's 431. I was looking at 370. My bad, 431. Yeah, okay. So that's where we are on the realty index. So that's the supply zone. So we have multiple supply zones on the daily chart starting at 447, and that's the supply zone probably where we are as of now trading. So it's very elevated. Wait for pullbacks to around 390. That will be a real good area to go long. Confirmation longs in this area on the daily chart. Remember, the range has narrowed now, so maybe intraday trades are fine. But once we break this 75-minute demand zone here, this drop based rally, then we could probably be looking at coming to our intended area of demand zone where we want to initiate a long position. So that's about 390. So a bullish outlook on this. Wait for pullbacks. Don't protect your profits. Keep trailing. New long positions will be aggressive at this price point. Small cap. Now again, just like the mid cap, this one has been also a stronger sector, but we still have to make a new high. The all-time high has been 10,673.55. We are yet to break that, but very, very bullish index. That's the next best demand zone for us to be a buyer on this index. I would not buy the small cap stocks because the momentum is strong. You will have a feeling of FOMO, but that could be where the prices will turn back again, maybe give a new high and turn back. So be prudent in booking profits at regular intervals. Don't forget your risk management. Small caps move very faster. Remember that. So bullish outlook on the monthly, but very extended. We need to wait for pullbacks. That's the weekly supply that we have, and that's where we are trading. Though the trend is up, we are in a weekly supply, so we'll have to wait for this all-time high to be taken off and a good follow-through candle before initiating new long position. If this supply holds, then we could be moving first. Target for us on the downside will be all the way at around 9400, and the second target at the monthly demand zone of 8750. So a very it's a uptrending index, but at the retail areas. So be careful about new long positions. Wait for pullbacks to good areas. So that's a good area on the daily chart. So I would prefer this high taken off and then a pullback to this area will be really good area to go long, because then we could expect a new high again. Maybe 11,000 could be the target once we take off this comeback and then start moving up. But right now we are in retail pricing area. Don't short because we need still some more confirmation since the trend is up, but protect your long profits and avoid getting into new long positions. Intraday is fine, short-term income is fine, but don't get into swing long positions on the small cap index. The last of the sectoral indices is the Nifty Private Bank. Again, pretty much similar to Bank Nifty, it's still unable to break the all-time high. But after getting an all-time high, pulled back to this monthly demand zone and is nicely moving up on its way. We have these new areas of demand zones which have been tested. A pullback can be expected, a small shorter pullback from these areas of supply zone on the weekly chart. That's what we have hit on the private bank index. So maybe that's why some pressure can be seen on HDFC Bank, ICICI, maybe even Axis and IndusInd Bank or Bandhan Bank. So shorts only on confirmation, but avoid getting aggressive, creating aggressive long positions, since we are still unable to penetrate deeper into this weekly supply. Can new long positions be initiated here? Yes, absolutely. So that could be a good area for short-term income longs in some of the private bank index once we come to that price. Quite likely that prices will come, because after hitting the supply on the daily, if you see private banks are moving down, not keen about this index, this demand zone. The best demand zone is at around 18,500. So buying can only be done here in the private index once we come here. A short-term income intraday shorts can be traded based on confirmation. We are at the retail pricing area. So on the 75-minute chart, once we go below this, okay, once we go below this demand zone, we have the next trap demand zone at this area on the daily. So if you take a look, that is very close to the daily chart. So multiple levels, but the gap level will be the best area to initiate long positions in the uh, private bank index. So bullish outlook, but right now short-term income, a short-term trend could be changing to the downside. So intraday shorts possible. Those are your areas for long, and for those are your ranges for the private bank. That's the supply for intraday, and that's a demand zone. So yeah, intraday longs between these areas of demand and swing positions at around 18,500. And the last index that I'm going to take a look at is India VIX. Now, India VIX, if you take a look on the monthly, it is moving up from the low points of 9, just below 10. Remember, this is the time from where we had a very strong up move in the volatility due to the pandemic. So there is a good chance that we could see volatility increasing again. That's the monthly supply. So if it starts increasing, 28 could be the area. So if it goes to 2800, Nifty could be easily trading at around 16,000 for us to enter into swing long positions. Okay, they are inversely correlated, but we also have a monthly supply here. So the first target for VIX possibly could be around 20, wherein we could pull back to about 17,000 on the index and can have some short-term income long. So no supply here till this. So this is what is scaring to be aggressively long on the index. So avoid aggressive longs. Still no permission to short, because this can remain range bound. Once we start going beyond 17, then you need to be cautious about your longs, because then we can see a spurt in the volatility all the way up to 20. And if it holds, then it could go all the way up to 28. Daily, if you see the volatility is slowly increasing. So that's the area where you could see a pullback when we reach At around 17, we could see Nifty probably trading at around 17,100. The short-term income longs can be initiated. But if you break this supply, then be cautious, because then the next stop will be 22 and then 28. So which will pull back index and most of the stocks down. So be cautious. Follow proper risk management. The markets are very elevated, though they're trending up and bullish. They are still very elevated. So uh, don't get aggressively long. Make sure you keep trailing and booking profits at regular interval. Uh, uh, Please go through this disclaimer. All right. Thank you. Have a safe trading week. Trade well, trade safe. And I'll post my next video next week. Thank you.